Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Glad you're with us. Thursday night, limited series. Xfinity Group getting ready to kick off 75 laps here in Michigan. Steve Ritter, Charles Woods, Joe Hudson, Johnny Barker, and Richard Spavely, last week's race winner, all starting in that top 5 group. Then it's going to be Glenn Campbell, Melissa Dyer, R.B. Turner, Mike Montesi, Cody DeForge. Your top 10 as they roll off pit road. Stoney Benfield's going to start 11th tonight. John Hickman Jr. is going to start 12th. Joey Jatina, Shayna Wood, Kevin Stone, Barry Stevens, John Fowler, Doug Simon, Ron Holyfield, Rick Kennedy Jr., your top 20. Again, as they roll off pit road, we get ready to go Xfinity racing here at Michigan. For the limited series. Last race before the holiday break right here. But I'll be remiss if I did not mention the final race of the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. Monday night right here on Turn 1. It's going to be a wild, wild event. And David Schildhouse going to look to take it to the bank. There's still got some opportunity there for drivers sitting in second, third, and fourth place position in the championship. You can catch every lap live right here on Turn 1, Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central at Homestead on Turn 1. But before we get there, we got to go through Michigan for the limited series. The pace car getting ready to duck down pit road. A lot of grip, a lot of horsepower, and a lot of speed out of these drivers tonight. And you're right in the place you need to be. Steve Ritter, Charles Woods, Johnny Parker, get them kicked off. Green flag is out. We're racing in Michigan. Off, down in 1 and 2 for the first time tonight. Ritter on the bottom there. They're 3 wide back behind him, though. That's Rick Swavely. Johnny Parker, Joe Hudson, everybody's in. It's a bit of a tussle there. Oh, we had a car sideways. That's the 23 spinning around of Joe Hudson. It was a three-way battle there for about 5th place, and unfortunately, it looks like Joe Hudson is going to pay the price right there in the middle. That is the 80 underneath him there. Who is in that 80 car? Well, that's the 08. Not sure exactly who that was up there with him. Either way, going to bring the caution out for the first time tonight. And that was Melissa Dyer. It looks like involved in that incident. Actually, it was a 38 on timing and scoring. Nope, that is the 38 for sure. Bringing out, making contact there with Joe Hudson, bringing out the caution for the first time. They get caught up with the pace car here again. Just getting ready to see what's in store for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series. If you haven't been watching that series, it's been a great show each and every Monday night. Myself alongside Kevin England calling that event, and man, it has been a phenomenal season with the premier group of the Sim 500, the Sim 500 Cup Series. We will be bringing home the championship, or we're crowning a champion Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on Turn 1. Under caution for the limited series at Michigan. We're going to step aside for about 90 seconds. Come back when we're ready to get back. Green flag racing. You're watching Turn 1. Pace car getting ready to roll back off here. Wrapping up the first caution of the night for the limited series on Turn 1. Steve Ritter, Charles Woods going to kick off the restart on the front row. Then it's Richard Swavely Johnny Barker, Glenn Campbell. We'll talk about what makes up this limited series here after the restart. Pace car down pit road. They have not even made it a full up to speed lap yet. Here they go. Taking a green flag again here on lap number 5. Steve Ritter gets out front, free and clear. Now it's Charles Woods. Richard Swavely side by side as he sent it off into 1 and 2. A bit of a drag race back behind him as well. That's Johnny Barker, Glenn Campbell back there. They're battling side by side, actually catching up with the Woods Swavely battle here now, starting to make it 2 and 3 wide, right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Goes the 32 with Swavely. Ritter out front, free and clear. He's going to complete that lap and lead. He's got about a half a second gap out there in front of Swavely. Woods sitting P3. John Higman, Johnny Barker make up your top 5. Then it's Glenn Campbell. He's fallen back to 6. Mike Montesi, Melissa Dyer, Cody DeForge, Joey Gentina, your top 10. Our championship contender and leader right now, RB Turner, sitting 12th at the moment. As we go back up front, Woods has been able to hold off John Higman. Swavely has fallen back to 4th. Campbell is on his way forward as he slides underneath the 38. Last time by Charles Woods set the fastest lap of the night here on lap number 7. Starting to get these cars up to full song. So let's talk about this limited series just a smidge here. It is a very short series hosted as RB Turner falls through the field a little bit. Graciously put on by that driver right there on the 23. That's Joe Hudson sponsoring this series. I believe it's a 10 race run. We are going to take a holiday break here and then head on off to we're going to head on off to Charlotte Motor Speedway, Talladega, and then Homestead, wrapping it up the weekend or the Thursday, December 18th. You're not going to want to miss a lap of that action as we see Charles Woods squeezes around Steve Ritter. That's a lead change with that 34 taking the point. But what makes this group really special is an iRating cap of 2,800. So what does that mean? You cannot come in here if you've got a higher rating than 2,800. That leads to a lot of drivers like Charles Woods, Steve Ritter, John Higman, Mike Montesi, and others up here battling for top 5s and wins in this series. So if you're interested in checking this group out a little bit more, maybe become racing with the Sim 500 Limited Series, head on over to sim500.com for more information. Woods out front, was able to complete that pass last time by, but Ritter's going to draft him all the way down the backstretch here in Michigan. This wide, multi-groove racetrack. It looks pretty easy to navigate around, but it's truly not. Those seams are slippery, the track is bumpy, and, well, this car has always been, it's one of my favorites on the service. It always has been. A lot of horsepower can get you out of a lot of trouble. But on the other hand, can get you in a lot of trouble as well. Especially if you overdrive that right rear. You'll see a lot of that happen. We got a car deep into the fence back there. I believe that was John Higman. As the 38's going to squeeze by underneath. But you'll see a lot of that transition happen right there off of turn 2. Here tonight. Woods continues to leave Ritter, Swavely, Montesi, Dyer. And then it's a 2x2 battle there. It's a 2-wide battle. That's John Higman, Johnny Barker. Higman running that outside line just a little bit higher than Barker. That's going to net you some RPM off the quarter now. Higman goes deep down to the bottom, about a late off that yellow line. Lets the car get back into the throttle, lets it unwind all the way up. You can do that if you have nobody on that outside groove. And it can net you some pretty positive speed as we see a battle for the lead once again. Ritter's going to dive to the inside of Woods. Woods has moved up the racetrack quite a bit. Can he turn that into straightaway speed as they come down the front stretch here? He's going to actually elect to stay to the high line. That's going to slow him up just a little bit. Ritter's going to maintain the lead. through 3 and 4 through the start-finish line. Charles Woods is going to fall back to second. This top 5, though, starting to get a little sporty and side-by-side. Swavely on the move once again. Last week's race winner put on some pretty good moves, but Mike Montesi now is going to look underneath him. Swavely put on a heck of a performance last Thursday night here on turn 1 and already worked himself up here or maintained that top 5 position, looking to pick up a top 3, while Mike Montesi, he's up for 6 spots on the night. Currently sitting at 3rd. The 38 of Dyer's been all over the racetrack a little bit here tonight. Got mixed up there just a little bit with the 23 of Hudson. Now, up 3 spots, sitting in 4th in that 38. HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Running right outside that wall there. Tied against that outside groove. That's going to keep the RPM in the car. It's a slower rotation through the quarter, but you can get back to the throttle faster. You just have to take the long way around and going to send it in there once again, down at 1 and 2. Nobody else really maintaining that high line, but really deep back into the throttle there very early. Able to keep the RPMs wound up in that Chevrolet. Looking a little further back. You're not missing anything. It's basically, as my good friend Kevin England would call it, conveyor belt racing 10th on back. But this battle here of the top 5 is not going anywhere. Ritter out front now. He's starting to open that gap consistently, 0.3 of a second over Charles Woods. As we work lap 15 here at Michigan. Let's ride on board with a couple drivers as they work themselves around this high-baked, high-speed racetrack in the farmlands of Michigan. Let's actually ride on board Johnny Barker as he takes on Michigan for a lap here on turn 1. Having to finesse that throttle fairly smooth there. Johnny Parker's going to turn it into a spot as he looks under John Higman as they take lap number 18 here at Michigan for the limited series on turn 1. Closing in on what pit stops could look like. I believe they have 2 sets of tires in the pits here tonight, but only a 75% fuel load. So laps here clicking off about 39 seconds, a lap or so, 40 seconds. A lot of on-time, wide-open throttle in these cars, so we will see them come down pit road around lap 30. Lap times have fallen off a little bit. We look at best lap time for our leader. Steve Ritter was a 39.53 as he comes across the stripe 0.4 of a second in front of Charles Woods. 39.53, and then last time by a 40.65. So lap times falling off about a second a lap as we've got a caution on the racetrack. Gerald Livingston looks like he may have had a big moment off. Let's take a look. This may be near turn 4. Oh, he's going to make a little bit of contact with another car. Who was that? That was Stoney Benfield in the 75. Getting tangled up in that as well. That's going to bring the caution out. And all that strategy I just talked about, well, it's out the window as drivers are going to get caught up behind the pace car for the second caution of the night here for the Limited Series. They'll all come down pit road here, I suspect. This is going to put them in a position to be able to one stop or to finish the race in one additional stop. So we'll see him come down pit road. Steve Ritter, Charles Woods, Richard Swavely, the 38 of Melissa Dwyer, and Mike Montesi, your top five. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. They're doubled up and ready to go back. Green flag racing with some fresh tires. And we got a fresh leader. Charles Woods up front. Mike Montesi is going to start outside row one. Steve Ritter is going to restart third. Richard Swavely, Melissa Dwyer restarting fifth. Shannon Wood, John Hickman, Glenn Campbell, Joey Santina, Cody DeForge, your top 10. As they get ready to re-rack here. It's going to go back. Green flag racing on lap number 23. Closing it out of the corner of the way through tonight's limited Xfinity Series race here on Turn 1. Woods is going to bring them all the way down to the restart zone. Pace car is off. That's a green flag. We're back racing at Michigan. Woods out to a commanding start. Mike Montesi, Steve Ritter, and Richard Swavely. It's 3 wide as they're going to send it off into turn 1. Montesi's going to get checked out on the outside. He's going to lose a bunch of spots. Steve Ritter's going to muscle around the 32 of Swavely. He's going to pick up that second place position. He's going to move down, try to break the draft off the bumper of the 32. John Higman up here mixing it up with the 38, trying to break back into the top 5. And now all of a sudden, Steve Ritter is back on the point. Charles Woods falling all the way back to 4th. New leader, the driver of the 89, Steve Ritter. A name we've not called into the top 5 here so far tonight, that's Joey Gentina. He is sitting up 8 spots on the night, sitting in 5th. Right there off the nose of Glenn Campbell looking underneath the 38 as he rolled into turn 3. Gentina running about a groove or lean off the bottom of the racetrack, right off that yellow line. Underneath the 38. 38 again able to use a little bit more speed through the corner there to keep that spot. As you can see, as Ritter puts up the fastest lap of the night here at 39.34 on those new Goodyears. As you can tell, Michigan can turn into a bit of a drafting racetrack. John Higman sitting P3. But Steve Ritter out front on the point. Taking a look through the rest of the top 10, you're not missing anything. RB Turner settled back into that 10th place spot. Shannon Woods, Tony Benfield. Benfield had a little bit of contact with goodness, who was that with us? That was a little bit of contact there with Gerald Livingston. But so far, that car looking relatively unscathed. They'd be able to patch a little bit during that caution. He's going to work on putting himself into the top 10 alongside Charles Woods there. Woods has fallen all the way back to this 11th place spot. Maybe a little bit of that car a little out of shape and losing some speed there out of the 34. Meanwhile, back up front, Steve Ritter out front 0.5 of a second over Richard Swavely. Richard's got Joey Gentina, who has worked himself into the top 3 all of a sudden. That 14 car starting to come alive. He's going to dive to the outside of the 32 and muscle himself around that spot. Up to P2 goes the 14 of Joey Gentina here in Michigan. Closing in on what will be a halfway point of tonight's race for this group, the limited series here on turn 1. Let's take a quick gander at the standings right now. RB Turner, he's sitting on the point in the standings, but he's got a decent 16-point lead. Richard Swavely sitting P2, and then it's Joey Gentina. He has 30 points, but some 37 points off the night. So if Gentina wants to, 37 points off the championship. So if Gentina wants to have a chance to bring home the championship trophy at the end of this thing in just a couple weeks, he's got to get every position he possibly can. Speaking of that 4-way battle for third, there's heating up. Melissa Dyer's in the mix. Swavely up there moving up to block the 38. Meanwhile, Glenn Campbell's up here into this 4th place spot. Swavely moves down to try to block it. We talked about the draft here is a potential at Michigan. So these drivers know they've got to mix up the runs or block some runs for drivers as Campbell underneath this outside group. Not able to open up the wheel as much. He wants to try to get clear of that 38. He wanted to be clear down the backstretch. Not able to get there. He's going to move up a lane and try to pick up a little bit of pace and distance on that 32. He's going to follow the 32 through the draft all the way up the racetrack there, coming on a 4. Gamble's going to have a run. Where does he go with it? He's going to look to the inside of the 32. This is going to put Glenn Campbell up into P2, up into P3 as we head off into turn 1. Is he going to move up and shut the door on the 32? He will. As they come racing down the backstretch. Less than half a car back off the 32. Campbell securely in that P3 spot again. We look ahead, though. Joey Jatina, he's starting to pull away. 3/10 now off the bumper of Campbell. But not closing on our leader. Ritter out front, 6/10. Started on the pole tonight. Gave up the lead a couple of times, but has made it work up front so far. Even after pit stops, came back out, I believe, came back out third this last time through. Was able to quickly gain that lead back. Another driver who has worked himself up through the field here so far tonight. Not a name we've mentioned too much, as that's the 17 of Kevin Stone. He is sitting 7th at the moment, and making it look pretty easy there. And that call 811 car. Kevin Stone up 8 spots, running 7th tonight. Not a bad run for that driver. It is still pretty much a 4-way fight here for this 3rd place spot. Right now, Swavely owns the position, but Campbell's going to challenge back again on the high side. Dyer's behind him. Higman Jr. is up here in the mix as well. So everybody jockeying for position, and this is kind of what you can do with this car. Entire combo. This car's been a pretty stout car for a couple years now. It's relatively stable, high horsepower. You can get yourself out of a couple mistakes if you need to, but you can certainly put yourself in some binds as well. Jatina has moved all the way up to the outside, nearly up against the wall there through 1 and 2 in that 14 car. He is searching for a little bit more grip, a little bit more speed in that car, as he's going to go again to the outside. The 3 and 4, we see Richard Swavely dives it down to the inside. He is going to be alongside the 14 on quarter exit, but that is going to not materialize into a position, at least right here at the stripe. That was about as close to a tie as it gets. Jatina on the outside able to hold him off, but all of a sudden that outside line just not really turning into a whole lot of speed. And now Swavely is going to dive it off in there once again at the bottom of 1 and 2. Out front, 1.2 seconds. Steve Ritter has a lead over this pack, so Ritter's out front. We're not going to follow that. He is in his own league, at his own pace right now. He's actually, our last time by, our leader was 2/10 faster than pretty much everybody else. Meanwhile, Swavely and Jatina now are battling it out. Swavely's going to have the upper hand on the bottom of the racetrack as they come across the stripe to take lap 36. We'll call that we'll call that close enough to the halfway point here tonight at Michigan for the limited series on turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz. Thanks so much for being here. If you haven't already done so, do me a favor. Give us a thumbs up, a like, a subscription, whatever you need to do. We are so close to 500 follows on Facebook. We would love, on Facebook. We would love to see some more activity over there and say hello in the chat. We'd love to engage with you as well here tonight on the live stream. Speaking of the live stream, I just looked over at the YouTube chat, And, man. Hey, Single Wings, or Single Wing, I don't even know what to make of that. Thanks for being here, bud. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to turn one. Steve Ritter out front, 1.1 seconds, and he's got an audience cheering him on tonight here in Michigan. Meanwhile, Glenn Campbell, John Hickman Jr. sitting third and fourth. Joey Jantina has slid back to fifth. Jantina's lap time starting to fall off a little bit stronger than the rest of the field. 41.12 last time by. That's about 2/10 faster than anybody up there in the top five. So Jantina starting to struggle with that 14 car just a little bit. Meanwhile, Kevin Stoll has gained another spot. He's moved up to sixth. Now keep in mind, these drivers came down pit road. That was lap number 20. They can go to about lap 55 to 58 before they're going to need to stop one more time. That will put them into one-stop territory. They do have a set of tires in the pits they can leverage as well. As we see a bit of a three-way battle back here. That's Stone, Turner, Barker. Stone's going to look underneath, or I'm sorry, Turner's going to look underneath Stone to the 17. That's RB Turner right there as well. Cody DeForge we saw in that mix. Barker out back behind this crew now. But it is all the Steve Ritter show. But pay no mind to that 32. Getting a little bigger in the rear view mirror of the 89 car of Ritter. He's going to have some company here in just a little bit. That's Richard Swavely. That's last week's race winner. On the march, he's closed that gap 0.3 of a second. Now closed at 4/10 here in the last 5 laps. That gap now down to about half a second. Ritter's going to have to turn up the heat a little bit. He's going to have Richard Swavely right there with him. And no time flat. Last time by, Swavely was a full second faster than Steve Ritter. I'm sorry, not a full second. 2/10 faster, rather. Last time by, so some excitement and a run coming here on our leader. Swavely, Campbell, Hickman Jr., Joey Jantina, your top 5. Dyer, Stone, Turner. These two have been going at it for a couple laps. Turner now to the outside, Stone to the inside. As they come across the stripe, making it look pretty good there. Let's actually take a moment here as he battles the 17. Let's ride on board with our championship point leader currently, RB Turner, sitting 7th. Caution is out on the racetrack, and it looks like Robert Van Nest may have went for a ride. This is out of turn 2. Oh! Robert gets that car deep, and oh, wow, big damage to the 66. That car, that shows you right there what can happen when that right rear gets a little light. You've heard me talk about it, that it happens right there off of 2, that high horsepower. He almost had it corrected, or at least had it yawed over a little bit, tried to redirect the impact on that car, but ultimately going to bring the caution out here. And Richard Swavely, by the way, while we were riding on board returner, Swavely was able to squeeze by the 89 right there at the very end. Let's see if we can take a quick look at that lead change here before we head off to break. Right before that caution came out, they were getting ready to, they were coming down the back stretch here, or the front stretch rather, the 32 to the outside. Built this run up over the last couple laps. Ritter backed out of it, going off into 1. And I believe this is the 66, losing it right there in the rear view. Oh, that's what got him sideways. Got into the wall there with Van Nest. Either way, we're under caution, and they're going to come down pit road, and we're going to take a moment to step aside. Richard Swavely leads here. Under caution, you're watching turn 1. Gonna go back, green flag racing with under 30 laps to go here tonight in Michigan for the limited series on turn 1. And a little bit of pit strategy at play for the 44. Glenn Campbell only a 9-second stop, or 9.86 or 8. No, let's try that again. 9.8 seconds in the box stop for Glenn Campbell. Likely some right sides. Oh, it looks like he's going to come down pit road. He is not going to start on the point. That's going to be Richard Swavely. Steve Ritter back up front. What is going to be the dominating factor here? The top line or the bottom line? John Higman, R.B. Turner, Melissa Dyer, your top 5. This could be the run to the end. Pace car down pit road. Richard Swavely gets them rolling. Green flag back out here in Michigan. 28 to go. We saw Swavely be able to move up and make that pass. Now, can he just hang on for a little while? Clean air is good air for that car in the Goodyear tires. What is it going to materialize to? And is John Higman going to pressure him a little bit? Meanwhile, RB Turner has moved up and quickly closing to the back of Steve Ritter is Kevin Stone here on the outside. That's of the 38, the 17, the 6 of Johnny Barker all right here. Back up the speed they go. Those tires coming to temps. We'll see some of the fastest laps of the race next time by. Out back behind 8th, 9th, 10th, no drama. Everybody's mostly, well, I say that. I look back here. That's Mike Montesi, Joe Hudson back there, 2 or 3 wide. Mark Schrader back there as well. Stoney Benfield in that mix. So a little bit of racing all over the racetrack here as his laps continue to wind down. And it is getting busy up here in this top 3, top 5 battle. That's John Higman Jr. Guess what? He's on the outside, or on the inside rather, Richard Swavely. He's going to push for the lead. Steve Ritter's right there. RB Turner in the 38 and Dyer. This is not what Swavely wanted to see. He wanted to be able to cool those tires, kind of run his own race a little bit, but Higman Jr. right there trying to hang on to that top spot, or trying to move into that top spot. Meanwhile, RB Turner, Steve Ritter side by side. Ritter, Swavely have been the class of the field all night here. Now both of them under fire as they come across the stripe. That's 25 to go. Four cars now, right down to the bottom. That's Swavely, Ritter, Dyer, Turner, all running right down below, right above that yellow line. Here comes the 6 now underneath of RB Turner, going to try to disrupt that. He's going to dive it in there hard. Off into 3 and 4. He's going to make it stick with that 6 car. He's going to pick up 2 spots. He's going to try for a 3rd. Here comes Johnny Barker. Right to the bumper there of the 60. He's going to take it all the way to the apron. Barker is going to look underneath Higman. He's going to go for a 4th spot here. Oh, he's going to squeeze it in there deep. He's going to get into the inside of the car. RB Turner gets collected. The caution's out. That is going to be hugely disruptive to the championship. And then also it looked like Stoney Benfield got collected. He did. He's got damage. And that's going to be huge for the playoff situation. Let's go take a look. That's the 6 and the 60 of Higman. They get collected there, and then nowhere to go for the 10. Benfield gets collected with the car coming down the track. And then, like I mentioned, I believe RB Turner got collected up pretty hard in this as well. Oh, yeah, he was the one that got into the back there of the 60 and then had some contact in the rear there because he got checked up. This could have championship implications. We were talking about the point lead, the situation a little while ago, and all it takes is one incident like this to shake it all up. We're under caution now for the 4th time here at Michigan. Swavely leads, Steve Ritter, Dyer, Barker, Stone, your top 5. We'll step aside. You're watching Turn 1. Gonna go back. Green flag racing here for the Sim 500 Limited Series on turn 1 with less than 20 to go. Richard Swavely, Steve Ritter, Melissa Dyer, Johnny Barker, your top 5. Then it's Kevin Stoll. Charles Wood's going to restart 6th. Shannon Wood is going to restart 7th. Sean Fowler, Mike Matesi, Joe Hudson has worked himself back into that top 10 position. These restarts have been pretty spicy, especially going off into 1 and 2 after the restarts. So we'll have to follow this fairly closely. We're going to stay up front here. Who can bring it home and who's going to head to the parking lot? A little disappointed where we're about to find out. Pace car is going to head down pit road. Swavely, Ritter, Dyer, your top 3. We're going to get the green flag into the restart zone. There it is. Green flag back out. Richard Swavely gets rolling. He's going to head off into turn 1. 20 laps to go. The 38 is going to drive off into the inside of Steve Ritter. Ritter to the outside. He's going to have the RPM in the car. Can he get the pass completed? Steve Ritter is going to hang on to second place. 20 laps remain here in Michigan. Kevin Stone continuing to have a decent night. He's up 10 spots on the evening. He's sitting 5th. Johnny Barker out front. Shannon Wood right there alongside. Nothing doing out back. It's pretty much this big fight right here as the 38 and the 60. I'm sorry, the 38 and the 89 rather of Ritter. Battle for that second place spot. The 38's going to go on the march. Ritter's going to look to the inside. Has been building this run. Swavely's going to move down to try and block it. The 38's going to be on the high line. Can they hang on to it? Out there they can. The new leader, the 38 of Melissa Dyer. Down to the bottom. Swavely now under pressure. Ritter on the outside. Off of 2 they go. Ritter's going to be in the key position here. He's going to have a little bit of help with that 6 car out back. All of a sudden, Swavely looks like he's in some trouble. He can lose 2 spots here as Ritter moves up into P2. Looking a little further back through the field, nothing doing in the top 10. A little bit of a side-by-side scuffle. That's Mark Schrader, Joey Gentina back there. And then there is Mr. Kevin England himself running 14th. He's up on 10 spots on the night. As the laps continue to click down, the 38 car out front here. 17 to go. Steve Ritter sitting in that P2 spot. Johnny Barker is sitting in 3rd. Shannon Woods able to get around all of a sudden. Swavely not looking as quick as he did 20 laps ago. Joe Hudson on the move back forward once again. Remember, he was caught up in that turn 1 incident. Or I'm sorry, not turn 1. That was, I believe that was lap 1. Joe Hudson caught up in that first caution of the night. Has recovered. Now he's back into the 7th place position. Out here for the top 5. Only about a car length and a half separates everybody. As Ritter goes right down to the very bottom, he's joined by, I believe that was Shannon Wood down there trying to get by. So no, that was Swavely trying to get by Shannon Wood. Swavely looking to pick up a little bit of pace here again. Turn it back on. Dyer heads to the top. Ritter heads to the bottom. We've seen that top line. Many drivers try to make it work, but it is just not materialized into raw speed. As we see Ritter Not really going anywhere, but right back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Dyer's going to send it off to the outside. Ritter's going to be right there to the left quarter panel as they come out the corner. It's going to be a drag race down the front stretch. Dyer's going to have the RPM in the car to hold him off one more time. Ritter's going to head down again to that bottom, not as deep into that. Well, I say it's not as deep to that yellow line. Didn't nearly touches it. He gets down there so far, it almost looks like he's going to touch the apron of the racetrack. Now, side by side of 38, it's a drag race down the backstretch. Advantage 38 by half a car length. Dyer enters a little lower, lets it roll all the way out to the wall. That car's going to get tight. Here comes Steve Ritter. It's a three-way battle for second. Swavely, Barker in the mix. New leader, Steve Ritter. Out front, Ritter has been dominant car here tonight, led a bunch of laps, was the pole sitter as well. He wants to just drive away at this point. Swavely stuck in the draft of the 38. The 6 of Johnny Barker is right there in the mix as well. Swavely's going to move down off the 38. I believe the 38 is starting to experience some tight racing race car conditions there. We saw them really enter in a little lower, but the car just did not rotate through the middle of the corner 3 or 4 a couple laps ago. Now, Richard Swavely was able to squeeze by. The 6 of Barker is going to be right there. Here comes Shannon Wood as well. Ritter's liking what he sees, but he certainly wants to see a little bit more of it. He needs to find some pace. The gap back out behind him is only about 4 tenths. And Swavely's free and clear of this battle here as they come across the stripe with 11 to go. And he is actually on the hunt there. So Steve Ritter. Ritter down to the very bottom of the racetrack. Swavely down there up on the high side. It is still a bit of a tussle back here for the 5th place spot. That's Johnny Barker. Here comes the 17 of Kevin Stone, rather. Mike Matesi back in this mix. Joey Jatina is back up here as well. He's going to make a 3 wide coming off the quarter of 3 and 4. A big race back here. That's pretty much 5th through 11th or so in this screen right here. Meanwhile, we go back out front. You're not missing anything at the moment. 10 to go, and Steve Ritter continues to lead by 4 tenths. Can he hang on to that 89 car? Will the 32 find some additional pace and work by him? Shannon Wood sitting at 3rd. Mike Montesi, Joey Jatina out of nowhere the last 5 laps has really kicked it up. He's going to look underneath Montesi here. And actually taking a look, it looks like Jatina came down pit road this last caution, or somewhere near it, maybe some newer tires. He's taking advantage off strategy. He's going to blow by Montesi. Now he's going to set it out for Shannon Wood. Ritter out front. Still holding on to 4 tenths, but it's starting to waver a little bit last time by. Ritter was a 40-50, 40-50. Swavely a 40-49. So I believe and Dyer's down in the grass. No caution just yet. Going to tow the 38 car. After being up front and battling for what could have potentially have been a victory, now not going to at least finish on the lead lap. Go back up front, Ritter right down to the bottom. He has been sticking to that line, and it's so far working for him. He's able to hold off Swavely 4 tenths of a second as they come down the backstretch. 8 to go here at Michigan. Meanwhile, Joey Jatina was able to get by Shannon Wood, and I'm telling you, he is coming with a head of steam. Last time by, equal lap times for Richard Swavely. 3 100ths faster than Ritter, but can he get there in time? He's got to run this group down. 1.2 seconds. One thing, though, that Ritter wants to see is the 14 of Jatina catch the 38 to start holding him up a little bit. Meanwhile, it looks like Swavely was able to close that gap just a smidge last time by a 40, basically equal lap times, but that gap now sitting firmly in the 3/10 margin. They're going to come back by the start-finish line as RB Turner's on the apron there, involved in that caution, a little slow. Going to come across the stripe. This is going to be 6 laps remaining here tonight at Michigan. Out front, Ritter. Swavely sitting P2. 3/10. Jatina, third. Jatina had the fastest lap time in the entire top 10 by a couple, we'll call it nearly a full 10th. But again, he's got a long way to run, about a 1.1 second gap up to the leader. He's going to run out of lap times. Jatina moving back up to that third place position here. It looks like, by the way, the 32 has started to suffer for a little bit of tire wear. He's fallen all the way back to 5/10 off the bumper. Ritter is going to come across the stripe. 5 to go for the Sim 500 Limited Series here on Turn 1. Back here a little further, that's Mike Montesi, Shannon Wood. Montesi's going to squeeze by, then it's Joe Hudson. Oh, and the caution's out. Looking for what may have brought that out. And it looks like, no, Kevin England. He has spun down the backstretch. Let's find out what happened with the 127. Oh, that was well before there. Kevin, what happened to you, bud? Oh, let's use the old replay. Looks like Kevin had that car. Oh, nope, Kevin may have had a little bit of help. Let's take a look. Side by side. Oh, a little bit of neck code, a little bit of help. Gets both those drivers tangled up and they can't get away from one another. And that was Mark Schrader in the 67. Those two finding each other at the exit of turn 2. That's going to bring the caution out here. So this very well could take us into overtime. We'll have to follow up with that. I'm fairly certain this will, or take us actually to a natural green-white checker. We'll see how this all shakes out. Steve Ritter, Richard Swavely, Joey Jatina, your top 3. We're going to come back for more racing action. You're watching Turn 1. Going into overtime for the limited series here on turn one. Steve Ritter leads Rich Waveley. Joey Jatina, Matesi, Hudson, your top five. There'll be 2 attempts here tonight at Michigan to wrap this up under green flag conditions. This restart's going to be spicy. Thanks for being here on turn one. Ritter, Swavely, Jatina. Does Steve have enough pace to get it done? We're going to find out. To the restart zone, green flag out. Overtime in action. Ritter gets out front, free and clear. Single files, they go off into one. Swavely's going to look to the highline. Jatina's going to follow him through. Swavely's going to have a bit of a run coming off of 2, and Ritter didn't shut the door. Oh, and another caution's going to be out. Looking for it. It looks like Kevin England again there, a little slow on the apron. Let's see if we could take a look. What happened to Kevin once again? 2 wide there on the bottom. Oh, makes some contact. That's going to collect a couple cars. And that is going to bring another caution out. We'll have one more attempt here to green-white checkered finish again. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Turn 1. It has been an incredible year of racing action here since bringing Turn 1 back earlier or late fall last year or early winter. And Sim 500 has been a very big part of that. And a special shout out to Joey Jatina, who has always looked out for having me involved. This limited series being part of that. We've actually already signed some deals for 2026. So you will be seeing plenty of Sim 500 racing action here on Turn 1 as we look ahead. But as I mentioned earlier, we got to crown a champion first for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, a Sim 500 Premier Cup Series, live right here Monday night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. We're going to head off into Homestead. David Schildhouse looks to solidify his spot on the top, but he needs to come out of there free and clear. It's not a freebie by any chance. You're not going to want to miss a lap of that racing action. Head on over anywhere you'd like to consume content, Facebook or YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, do what you need to do to get connected. We'd love to see you back for the championship round of the Sim 500 Premier Monday Night Cup Series live on Turn 1 this coming Monday evening. A programming note as well for the limited series. They are taking next week off, and then we head to Charlotte 1 week after the turkey holiday. So still quite a bit of racing action going to be happening here for the next couple weeks. By the way, if you would like to elevate your special event next race season or a charity event, head on over to Facebook, do a search for Turn 1, or just say hello in this chat even. I'd love to get connected with you. We are looking and have limited availability, not only through the remainder of 2025, but through 2026 as well. We can build some packages and certainly get you in front of a higher audience count, or if you'd like to advertise your business through a commercial on Turn 1, we'd love to have you as well. Head on over to Facebook, do a search for Turn 1 Broadcasting, send us a message. We'd love to connect. Pace car lights are off, getting ready to go one more time here to try to get this wrapped up under green flag conditions. Steve Ritter, Richard Swavely, Joey Jatina, your top three. Then Joe Hudson, Mike Montesi, Kevin Stoll sitting in sixth. John Fowler, Eli Raposa, Rick Kennedy, Charles Woods, your top 10. Pace car down pit road. They're going to kick it off one more time into the restart zone. Green flag back out. Ritter with a great restart. 2 to go. Swavely down to the bottom, or to the high line. He's got Joey Jatina deep to the quarter panel there. That is going to be a drag race off of turn 2. Meanwhile, Ritter right down to the bottom. He's not going to have a ton of RPM in the car. He's actually going to have to contend with Joey Jatina and get Sporty back behind him. Jatina was looking to take that run somewhere, had nowhere to go. It's going to be 3 wide back there, trying to swallow up Swavely as Hudson and Montesi. And that's going to be at the caution out. That very well could be the end of the race right there. Steve Ritter was your leader. That was the white flag lap. That'll be the race winner right there. Ritter going to be crowned your winner. I'm not quite sure what brought that yellow out. Let's go back here and take a look. Oh, this happened in a car in the fence. That was John Fowler. That looks like got tangled up there. He was running in the top 10. Sony Benfield right off the bumper. Oh, maybe all those two get connected. Up into the wall, Fowler goes. He's going to be credited with the 19th place finish. Meanwhile, we go back up front under caution here, and this one's going to end under caution. Steve Ritter, Joey Jatina. I'm not sure who's going to have that third place spot, as they're going to come down the front stretch here and take the checkered flag. Your winner, Steve Ritter, brings it home here at Michigan. We're going to step aside. I believe that was Richard Swavely in third, Jatina running second. We'll polish all that up and get ready for some post-race coverage. You're watching Turn 1. Another wild one in the books here tonight, and Steve Ritter was able to bring it home. Steve, congratulations on the victory. That seemed like that was not an easy one to go after. Won the pole here tonight, led a bunch of laps, but it seemed like a lot of stiff competition in that top 5 group.
No, that's I've been running in this league a long time off and on, and I have never won a race, so that one felt good, and to have to win it the way I did with Richard and Joey right there, that just made it even better. So that was fun.
Steve, we saw you again, like I said, started on the pole here tonight, had some pretty quick pace, but it looked like that 32 maybe had a little bit of a longer run speed. What did you learn through the race here tonight, or as the race moved on, and how much was saving those tires and the handling characteristics of this car a factor?
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. Richard was saving and I was not, and he definitely caught me in that middle run there. The other thing I noticed when he got in front of me, he was going all the way to the bottom, and I hadn't gone down there the entire race. And so I just followed him down there and realized that there was a lot of grip down there, and you could turn a quicker lap almost if you just minded the throttle coming off. So he kind of showed me what he was doing, and that helped me a lot.
Well, Steve, obviously this track wildly different than where we're going, but anything you learned here tonight that could carry you through post the holiday break and potentially see you in victory lane here before the end of the season?
I don't know. Like I said, I've been running this league a long time, and that's the first win. So we'll take it race by race. But just want to thank Joe Hudson and Joey and everybody that runs Sim 500 for putting this on, and you guys for broadcasting it. Love watching these broadcasts after these Thursday night races. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Ritter, your victor here tonight in Michigan. Steve, congratulations. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, man.
And with that, we will talk to last week's race winner in second place here tonight. That is Richard Swavely. Richard, congratulations. That 32 looked like it was on rails for a lot of tonight's race. Walk me through your night. It looked like you found a little something in the middle run there.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about the bottom of 3 and 4, but it's like I found a grip strip down the bottom of 3 and 4, that middle of the run of the race there, and that one caution that came out really, really kind of ruffled my feathers, because I think I was like 3-4 tenths faster than Ritter out front, and right when I finally get by him, the caution comes out, and then it's the gamble of, do I take tires now and suffer later, or do I suffer now and hope for another caution? And I took tires, and the guys that hope for another caution lucked out, I guess.
Richard, we saw you. It did seem like once you got out front, you had a little bit of something there that nobody else seemed to really find. And obviously, we're looking to try to parlay that into 2 victories in a row, a spot or 2 short here. But that right front, and it looked like everybody was trying to manage it quite a bit. How critical was the tire wear here this evening?
I was actually having a little more. I don't think the wear was as much of an issue. I'll just double check my last wear. I was actually wearing my right rear more than I was the right front. I don't know if I was just driving a little different and stuff, but on exit, especially exit of 4, my car, if I didn't hit the exit just right, my car was super, super, super loose. So, I think that's what helped me when I found that bottom line, is I just wait to get in the throttle a little bit later, and then I could just rock it off the corner. And yeah, it was fun. Had a great battle there. I mean, third kind of sucks, but it's the friends you make along the way, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, Richard, listen, congratulations. Another solid finish here tonight with the Limited Series. I'll ask you the same question I asked Steve. Obviously, holiday break coming up, and after that, we head to Charlotte, Talladega, and Homestead. Anything you learned tonight, or anything you know that you could go into these tracks here after the break and potentially pick up a couple other checker flags?
I'm really looking forward to Charlotte. In the Wednesday night series, I actually won the truck race at Charlotte over there in the Wednesday Premier Series. So me and Charlotte, that's a track I get along really, really well with. As for the super speedways, I'm one of those guys that I usually tell people we need to fill them with water and stock them with bass, because that's about all they're good for. But I do proficient at them. I finished second at Daytona at the start of the season. It's it's one of those okay, fine, but I'm going to complain the whole time when I show up at a super speedway. So,
well, I'll make sure to have the Fisher polls ready the next time we get a chance to talk. Congratulations, P3 here tonight at Michigan, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
all right, thank you.
Richard Swavely, P3 tonight at Michigan. We'll quickly talk to the boss man, Joey Gentina. Joey, P2 here tonight. Another strong finish in that 14 car. This limited series seems to be off to a really solid run.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row. I thought we had a chance to win a race, and last week we led the most laps, I think 31, and then tonight, we just had to play and roll the dice with strategy with limited tires. We wound up. I decided to take tires there with that last caution, and man, a lot of guys did not come in. I thought they would, so that really just kind of helped me. I think my tires are about 8 laps better than the 89 and the 32. And tell you, I needed one more corner, and I think we had it won. But I also heard Shannon Wood was coming with those new tires in the 2 car.
He was actually. He worked himself all the way back up to 7th and passing everybody pretty quickly. You were doing the same though, and it looked like had you not had that last caution come out, you were on a roll there to make a move down the backstretch. Once again, was that the intent?
Yeah, no, I was just going to get to the outside of the 89. I think I was there before that caution came out, and that's, he was down there on the bottom, little older tires. He'd get a little bit sideways coming up off the corner. My car was hooked, so I mean, I'd figure I'd just power right by him and be drinking champagne right now, but unfortunately we're not doing that. But great run overall. We'll get one eventually.
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever. Off into the holiday break we go with this group, but then we head to Charlotte, Talladega, Homestead. Anything you think you got for these guys as we look down on the final 3?
Well, I'd love to win a championship. I mean, I've been, running 7,500 starting our 9th year, and I've really never won anything. So it's a lot of fun to be competitive, and I'm now 22 points back in 3rd. I see Swavely's 1 point out. He's going to be tough to beat. He's going to have to miss a race to make up that kind of ground. But the name of the game is no more mistakes. Pit road is really just been my detriment this year. A lot of speeding penalties. I think I sped getting on and then leaving the pits at Dover, and I was running well there. So the errors have stopped, thankfully, for right now. We just got to keep that rolling in the next few races.
Well, Joey, listen, congratulations. A solid group of drivers here on Thursday night. And enjoy, if I don't talk to you on Monday, enjoy the holiday break, and we will see you back at Charlotte 2 weeks' time.
Happy Thanksgiving. See you soon. Safe travels.
Absolutely. Joey Gentina, P2 here tonight at Michigan as we wrap up race coverage at Michigan. It has been a wonderful run here with the limited series. And as I mentioned, after the holiday break next week, no race next Thursday, but we roll on to Charlotte 2 weeks' time. On behalf of the League Admins, I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you Monday night for the championship round of the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on Turn 1. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.